All right. I think we live. We live, baby.
Episode 11.
Episode 11.
It's over.
What it do?
What's up?
What it do? It's hot in here today, baby.
We're going to get through
We're
it.
gonna get through it, man.
Today, we got a special
Yes,
guest
sir.
on the Blackboard Podcast, Mr. Ramone Davis. Indeed, from the hood. Nah, but real short, man. Kind of dive into a few things. The reason why, what led us to the interviewing Mr. Davis is, for me, and I mentioned some of this in the direct message. I think Nipsey said it best. You know, the best thing we can do as human beings is give inspiration to others. So, you know, I followed you, bro. Couple of cats that came from the 04 class, 05 class, even our class. Active fathers, educators, giving back to the community, and entrepreneurs, listen to things, man. But just seeing your grind, bro, seeing your development, that's what led us to having this interview today. So we're gonna dive into a few things about your background and your life experiences. You know, of course, being a father, entrepreneur, educator, recently obtaining your doctorate degree, and that's pretty much it, man. So let's dive into it.
Bunch Park, representing.
Cowboy.
Yes, sir. What? Third ball, Coach Turl. Shout out Coach Turl, man. Hey, but and Coach Chen. Shout out Coach Chen as well, man.
And y'all was in a Wildfield, wasn't
Yeah, Wildfield.
Yeah, to Coach, if we made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, we ain't never play y'all done. What part you came to before? Came from before that though?
I actually started at Opelika Hurricanes.
Okay.
So my first 2 years was at Opelika Hurricanes. It's funny how that started. I was just outside with my stepdad at his sister's house, and I was throwing the ball in the air real high. And then I guess he was the head coach at the time, Coach Mike. He saw me in the middle of the street throwing the ball. He was like, "Son, you play football?" And I was like, "No." And then he was like, "You want to play for me?" And I was like, "You got to ask my dad." So I went in the house, got my stepdad, and he came outside, talked to the coach, and that started my football career right there.
Yes,
Actually
indeed.
started out playing in the trenches, man. Center and nose guard my first 2 years.
Yeah, it is.
Center and nose guard.
Indeed. Opelika Hurricane.
Mhm.
What color was Opelika Hurricane?
It was green and gold.
There it is. There.
Gold.
That was a hell of a rivalry back in the day though.
Yeah.
Against Bunch Park.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, y'all basically was next door to each other. Okay. There it
The
is.
streets, right down 22nd Avenue.
There it is. So I'll start with the first question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ramone, tell us basically your background and where you're from, and just dive into your background.
Okay. As a kid, you know, staying in Miami, times was kind of rough. So my family, we like moved around a few places. The first place I lived at was in Opelika. So I went to Westview Elementary from like kindergarten through fourth grade. And then I ended up, Henry Reeves School opened up. Their first year opened up. I was in their first graduating class as a fifth grader.
Okay.
We still stayed in that area. But then we moved to Miami Gardens.
Okay.
We moved to Miami Gardens was Carol City back then, into my grandmother's home, one of my grandmother's home that she bought. We moved there.
Gotcha.
And I attended Parkway Middle for like a year and a half. And then we moved to North Miami, where I attended Highland Oaks
Gotcha.
for like a year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then we moved again. We moved again in '99 to the city, and that's where we resided till my mom still lived there to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Bless.
So once we got there in '99, we kind of set the foundation, and that's how I ended up at Charles Drew, graduated from Charles Drew Middle School, and then end up at Northwestern.
Shout out to the Barracuda. Shout out to the Wolves.
Shout out to the Barracuda.
What elementary you went to?
Man, I went to Miami Park.
Okay.
Yeah, Rabbit Street.
Okay.
Like, so if you driving down 103rd, yes, Henry Reeves or something like that.
now.
Yeah, but drive down 103rd before you get to Central.
Okay.
It's right there off 26th.
And what middle school?
Man, my mom sent me to Ruben Dario, bro.
Oh, wow.
I was supposed to go to Madison. But she was like, nah,
okay.
you ain't
I
going
remember
there.
Madison. Okay.
Yeah, she
Got
ain't going
it.
there, man. So that's why I ended up
I
there.
know a
But
couple people that went out there from the city too, though, to Ruben Dario from the city area.
So that was
yeah, the bus used to stop in all of the hoods, and that's how I knew everybody at the West.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There it is. Let's segue to the next one, man. What was so currently you're a teacher?
Yeah, teacher. Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Okay. And how many years? What was your motivation, or what was your inspiration to you diving into being an educator?
To be honest, I was kind of, after high school, I was kind of not lost, but I was kind of up in the air about what I want to do with myself.
Gotcha.
I knew I loved the game of football, and it's crazy how I got into college though, because to be honest, like I wasn't the best student at Northwestern.
Gotcha.
I started off.
Man, me too. Me too.
I started off real rocky. I was pretty young at the West. People don't know, but I was 13 when I came into Northwestern. I graduated at 17. So,
Me too. Yeah, that's
so
crazy, bro.
my whole 12th grade football season, I was 16. I didn't turn 17 until after the season was over. So I was pretty young.
Beginning of the season.
I was pretty young.
I'm a Leo. Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius, December 10th.
Oh,
So the season was over. After my senior season, I turned 17.
Wow.
I'm still a young guy on the team playing with 18 and some kids almost 19 years old.
So you got promoted or something? Like how did you?
No, my stepdad worked some magic out. Okay. You know Coach George, man. You know Coach George. My stepdad, he wanted me to start school when my sister started school.
Gotcha.
Cause my sister's birthday, you know, the September 1st rule they had back in the
Right.
like that. But she had to wait a year to start school.
Right.
When they tried to get her, when with everybody else. So then the next year I was gonna have to wait. And it was like, nah, both of y'all gotta get up out of here the same. So they end up
and they was able to pull that off.
He was able to I don't know if I should say this, but he was able to change some information to get me I was a little older to go ahead and start school at that moment.
Make the dream work.
You know what I'm saying?
But, I mean, just to piggyback off that though, you know, if you think about from Optimus ball and all that, that's just what the coaching was. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So and I didn't feel the effects of me starting school earlier than I should. I never had no academic problems in school.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It was an academic problem, it was because of me being lazy, and that's when I got to a higher level in high school.
Gotcha.
But when I was younger, I really didn't have any educational problems. I wasn't behind in reading levels or anything like that. So no one never knew.
Gotcha.
They thought me and my sister was twins because we was the same grade.
Wow, that's crazy. So what kind of made you go the educational route though? Like
just wanting to be around sports.
Okay.
I thought about like when I didn't know what I was going to major in.
Okay.
When I signed up for college, it was like I was hanging out late night, and you may know the guy. He's from your neighborhood, from the Poker Beans. His name is Javi. You know Ebony Potter.
Yeah.
The older brother.
Older brother, yeah.
Right. He was going with this girl in the projects where I used to hang out at.
Okay.
He was going with this girl, and it was like 5:00 in the morning. I was just hanging out.
Gotcha.
And he came over there, and I was up there trying to be fast at the girl's house. And he came and he was talking about how he was getting people in college and things like that. So I was like, my mom was already on me about you have to get a job or go to college. You know
right, for sure.
So I was like, well, let me try this. And he said he's getting people in Florida Memorial. I had no kind of.
Was he like a student enrollment guy or something like that?
He was just a guy that was willing to help anybody he could.
Wow.
He was a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was just a good guy. And I just happened to come across a conversation when he was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right place, right time.
Wow. You know and that's what made you.
And the reason why I knew who he was because when I was at Northwestern, you know how the older guys who graduated, they'll come out and visit the school.
Right.
Come in the teacher classroom.
Right.
This guy used to come out there with a whole group of guys from the Poker Beans and come and visit Mr. Gutierrez, the Spanish teacher.
I do remember him.
So I used to be sitting in Gutierrez class and they'll come knock on the door and then Gutierrez will come and greet them. And I'll look at them, I'd be like, okay, I know these guys from the Poker Beans.
Right.
From like being around the neighborhood.
Gotcha.
So when I used to see him in the projects, I was already familiar with his face.
Gotcha.
So I did everything he told me to do that next day. He had his girl, he did my financial aid for me online. My mom was skeptical about it because I had to give him my social security.
Right.
My mom would play about information.
Right.
Technology the same way, bro.
Almost definitely.
Oh man.
Yeah,
play with information. So I had to go ask. I was like, Mom, I got this guy. I had to show her the packet. Hey, listen, this guy said he can get me in school, but I need to give him my social so he can do my financial aid for me online. So she was like, all right.
So the dude that was a party guy was a part-time guidance counselor, basically.
He knew the lady. I'm gonna tell you how it happened. I went home. I didn't even go to sleep because it was already late night. When I went home, my mom was getting ready for work. She worked at the post office. Ready for work. So that's when I was able to tell her. She gave me the okay. I gave him the information, and I started filling out the packet right then. He sent his girlfriend, which I knew her from the neighborhood. He sent his girlfriend to pick me up, take me to Flomo, and to take this lady my packet. Mm-hmm. She worked in the office.
Right.
So I took it in my packet, and I got accepted the same day. At this time, it was Florida Memorial College. They were trying to get their enrollment up.
I was just about to say it had to be something similar to that.
So I got in the same day. I was accepted. Only thing I had to do was wait on my financial aid to come in and get sent to the school, and then that's how I was getting my school paid for. So without me being out, it was like in my life, I was always the best person. Yeah. But it's like God always had grace. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was in wrong places at wrong times, but I always got away. You know what I'm saying? In this type of situation, I'm hanging out, have no business outside late night like this. I'm supposed to be
5 a.m.
You know what I'm saying? And I run into a guy who kind of like almost changed my life. Really did change my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got you in college.
Because without him, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have ended up getting a job, probably hustling. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another conversation.
Right. I get it. I get it. Man, I know, as I said before, man, follow a lot of guys as Miami Northwestern alumni. I see you very involved with your children. Let's speak on, the importance of as fathers being present and what are the benefits to your children from your experience. Well, I'll first speak to your experiences with your father or stepdad, and then dive into your experiences as an active father and the benefits of the children.
I think just being present is alone the biggest component of being a parent. Just being there, because you don't have to have all the money in the world to make a difference in your child's life. But my stepdaddy being there for me made me who the father I am. He came around when I was 3, but as I was growing up, he was at every football game. He eventually became my football coach.
Look at that.
And then when I was in high school, he had so much of a way with his words. I look over and I see him on the track, inside on the field. You know what I'm saying? And that gave me like that confidence to let me know that somebody was there, had my back. You know what I'm saying? As a support system.
What was the topic last week? Even when my father was
there, yeah.
So he wasn't on me educational wise. He wasn't on me. I mean, of course, when I was younger, he stayed on me educational wise. But as I got older, I didn't have like an older brother to like stay on me about staying positive and things like that. But but I'll always revert back to his teachings as when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? As far as, and I watched him. We used to go to FIU, and he used to leave me on the basketball court while he going in the library and do work, because when I was younger, he obtained a degree.
Wow.
And so those things like that kind of
that's powerful, bro.
Showed me that it can be done. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
And back to the education thing, I ended up going to education. Like I said, I wanted to be around sports, but you know who I used to watch, and I used to be like, I think I said this to you before, but like a person like Coach Brown and Coach Watts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I watched them, able to watch them how they moved about and how they carried themselves, and that gave me a direction once I chose the route I wanted to go in college. So once I got in, once the guy got me in, I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, you got to choose a major. Right. I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, I might as well be a PE teacher. So, and I could go back and give back and be a coach at the same time. And it kind of all happened. I just didn't become a PE teacher. But everything I wanted to do, I eventually did.
Okay. So speak to your experiences with you being a father, with your kids.
Me being funny with my kids, I have a daughter. She's 14.
Okay.
So that was my first experience. And everything went well. I had a good experience because my daughter's mom was very active, and she was not overprotective, but we had a good
co-parenting situation.
Yes.
Oh yeah. When we talked about that, that's a blessing, bro.
I really didn't have any too much of what they say baby mama drama.
Gotcha.
I really didn't have too much of that. Of course, we had our small issues.
Right.
We always able to work through it because we always got the interest of my child.
Gotcha. There it is. We talked about that last week.
She never used my child as a pawn or anything like that. So I always been present, even sometimes when I didn't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
And that's pressure.
And I always put in my time.
Gotcha. So your oldest 14, and how old are you?
My son is 9. So my son had a different life than my daughter. My daughter watched me struggle a little bit, so I was doing things that kind of kept me away from times where I could have been there more. I was never absent, but I could have been there more.
Gotcha.
But now that I'm in a better place financially and in life, I could be there more.
Right.
So my daughter watched me struggle a little bit. My son got a silver spoon.
Understood. So, and it happens like that though, because I think we talked about it.
With you?
Yeah. Like, so the way I talked about it is so my youngest is 9. I mean, my oldest is 9. My youngest is 4. But I talked about how I look at fatherhood as a long-term experience.
Yeah.
The first 10 may be rocky, but that second half, as you said, you going through this journey and you in a different space in life. You could just it ain't even just the money part. It's just like your mental space. You follow what I'm saying? So let's segue into that because we kind of talked about that a little bit.
Like you think about Flomo, right? You're around people who are desiring something different. Right. So is that showing up inside of like your parenting, outside of like how your dad?
Yes, of course. when I went to Flomo, I had to be a different person.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that. Because when I first got to Flomo, I was still being that guy from the hood. I was still walking with my pants sagging.
Right.
I was at that time I was doing some things that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And I learned, and it took a professor to tell me, they saw me walking through the school, and it was like, I don't know the exact words, but it was along the lines of, you gotta learn how to, it's a place and time and place for everything.
Right.
That was the same, but he said in a different way. And it really stuck with me because and I tell it to my students, I say, nobody should know your business. No matter what you do outside of the school and outside of the scope and sequence of what your career or your schooling, you should never show those people your bad side.
Yeah.
I should say. You walk around with your pants down, but don't be walking around smelling like marijuana, because these people actually have your life in their hands. So like your professor got to give you a grade, even though you got to earn it, but it's still at their discretion. They can still your teacher, the judge, the police officer. You never even your parent. So I said those are people I tell my students that you have to put your best performance on in front of these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be able to things to go your way in life, you have to present yourself in a certain way.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
I'll give a little take too, man. What I remember, what come to mind for me, I had an algebra class, and it was when I first went to Savannah State. It was like 10 of us. I think it might have been 12. They did like a short article on us, but they used to call us the Miami Vice Boys.
I think
So yeah, so we used to wear like Timbs and shorts, and they didn't really understand our style. But one day I remember when it hit me that I needed to change. The professor asked me to go on the board and answer the question. I knew the question, so I had no problem on that.
Yeah.
What I had, it was when Jim Jones them had balling with the chain and the jeans, bro. I got my pants down. I walked to the board, answered the question, no problem. But when I turned around to see everybody's face, like of confusion, like you look like this, but you smart.
Yeah.
That's when it started to change for me. Like, bro, you got to change your appearance. So to your point, and as you mentioned too, when you're in a different environment, you just got to rediscover who you are. You feel what I'm saying? Like you get a chance to say, okay, let me create a new person. You feel what I'm saying? Like you ain't got to be fake, but who you are from the hood, you from the suburbs. I think you mentioned some other parts of the city too. I've been in the beans since '99. This all I know was the hood. But going to college helped me just develop into a different person. Basically.
Same here. Same here. So when I used to go to college on campus all week, you know what I'm saying, I'm in a different element.
Right.
And then when I go right back to the projects on the weekend.
There it is.
Every weekend I'm in school 5 days a week and back in the projects on the weekend.
Right.
So I was like kind of turning it off, turning it on, battling the fence, knowing I'm in school and I got things to lose and I'm out here just chilling in the projects all weekend with my homeboys who ain't graduated from high school. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against them. I love them and they never judge me. That's another thing I try to persuade to my kids.
Right.
Like, if your real friends won't judge you for making a good decision.
Right.
And the only thing for me is I just kept educating myself. I'm no different than these guys.
You said something.
You know what I'm saying? So they never judged me or never treated me any different because I became who I became.
God,
the decisions I made.
That's a good point, bro.
Your doctorate degree. You recently graduated with that within the past year?
June 6th.
June 6th.
Man, that's a blessing, bro. Black man.
So
Solid, boy.
So it's Dr. Davis now.
Man, there it is. Dr. Davis, that's what's up.
I'm still trying to grasp it.
Yeah.
Was this in class or partially hybrid or all online?
All online. I was blessed to find over an all online program. I was really supposed to go on campus one time, but due to COVID, we didn't have to report. So that phase turned to online as well. So I was able to do everything online, kind of while I'm at work.
Yeah.
While I'm at home.
Yeah.
And you got your doctorate degree in what was the subject?
Educational leadership.
Educational leadership. And did you have, at the end, did y'all have to do like a final paper or something like that?
Yes, it's called a strategic research project.
Gotcha.
It's called SRP. Now at Nova, I'm not sure any other colleges, but at Nova, they have, usually people they do a dissertation.
Right.
And the dissertation is done like over the last 3 or 4 courses you take.
Okay.
But the SRP was an alternative to a dissertation. It's the same thing, but they break it down into 9 parts into 2 semesters. So it's a very intensive last 2 semesters, and then like a part is due like every other week.
Right.
And if you fall back, it's hard to catch up. So,
Gotcha.
so it's very intensive.
And what was the topic that you selected?
I chose to research because we have a teacher shortage around the world in the United States, and especially in Miami, Florida, and within our school district. So I chose teacher retention, how to combat teacher retention. Because at my job, my principal, she does a good job at combating teacher retention.
Gotcha. And if you could dive into that a little bit, what do you think are some of the reasons there's a teacher shortage? How do you address and what do you think is what would be one thing to try to address it?
To be honest, I think money plays a big part in it.
Oh man, I'm glad you said it. That's the elephant in the room. Yeah. I mean, I work in law enforcement, and EJ's in the tech world. We know that there's a shortage in teaching because of money. We got several classmates or those you may run into that speak on it. I think, to be honest, especially in Miami-Dade County and Broward, especially if you come in there with degrees, start them off at 60, 70,000.
And this profession, you gotta love it, man, because the money. I'm not gonna say it's pennies, but it may be okay for a younger teacher who don't have children. But once you have family, that money gets kind of tight. And then we have to be in a mental capacity to teach these kids.
Right.
So we got stressors on the outside of work. They expect us to leave those at the door. It's kind of hard.
That's hard, very hard.
Teaching, you got bills collectors calling your phone.
Oh yeah.
So I think teachers deserve more money.
Indeed.
And another reason is because we create the next generations of successful people.
Just the impact in society.
Yeah, we teaching the foundations of their learning skills that's going to carry them throughout life. Gotcha. And they're going on to be great people in high places. So I think we deserve the praise or the flowers that we should get for teaching these things, giving them these kids these tools to help them be successful people like yourself.
Indeed,
yeah.
Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Well said. I think he touched on the mental health piece.
Yeah. So I think that was a good segue because we often talk about mental health on the show because I think it's in this climate that we're living in, whether that's working from home, dealing with different type of stresses within the world. It's a lot of different things that we need to show up with. So in your journey, right, you say you had a good foundation growing up, but you also had moments where you were straddling the fence. How did you find moments to continue to build on your mental health?
I learned how to stop worrying about things I can't control. And that went in like every part of my life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Even with the job, or even with my kids, or even with my relationships with women.
Right.
I just don't worry about things I can't control.
Gotcha.
That made me was able to alleviate a lot of stress and help me keep focused on things that's important. You know what I'm saying? So I don't let anything that I don't have the control over to worry me. You know what I'm saying?
You think hobbies play a big factor in stabilizing your
Yeah. With me as being a leader in my hobbies became my my duties.
Yeah.
Like I like to be around sport. I played 9-on-9 man flag football when I was in my working in a juvenile facility. So my hobbies playing football became a duty of mine to coach.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I started coaching, and then now I coach my son's football team.
Okay.
So I deal with parents.
Oh,
I'm
man.
head coach.
You head coach?
Head
Oh, yeah.
My fourth year being a head coach.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I deal with parents.
Respect.
I deal with all the kids, their behaviors and their personalities.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I gotta worry about jerseys.
Yeah.
I worry about dudes.
Yes, sir.
Paying dudes. I have a lot to worry about on top of my own kids on the team.
Right.
And then I have my career. I also was in school, just finishing school now. So, and then I was trying to still run a business.
Oh,
so I was getting pulled in different places.
Right.
Throughout the day.
Right.
The phone call from in this area of life, phone call from this area, and I still have a girl at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of stress, bro.
Yeah. So I don't worry about anything I can't control, bro.
Gotcha. So is there certain, like for me, I'm just highlighting myself. And I think we talked about it. I go to the gym.
Yeah, so I was just about to
I'm
say.
big gym guy.
in the gym.
I saw you in the gym. I'm in there with headphones in, locked in.
Yeah.
Bro, that's honestly, bro, I got to a point, that's medicine for me. That's therapy for me. If I don't start in that gym first, I ain't gonna have a good day. That's kind of what it is, bro. So is there something that you do on a daily basis or during the week that you say this contributes to me just staying healthy? Is it working out or what works for you?
I work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You hit the gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now I usually go to Moore Park while my son's in. When during track season, it's easy for me because while he's in track practice, I just go into the gym.
Yeah, it is right.
But now I try to get up before work. Like
Okay.
you say, the best time for me to work out is like 5:30.
Yeah, it is right there. Yes, sir.
Before I go to work, and that starts off my day. It makes me eat right.
Right.
Then
It is.
makes me feel better about myself. Give me that self confidence.
Most definitely. Yes, indeed.
And
gym
yeah,
right there, bro.
so it's same here.
Indeed.
Same here.
Indeed.
And I isolate myself a lot. Like I'm a Sagittarius, so I start seeing a lot of posts. I don't really take that type of stuff serious, but I start seeing a lot of posts that I kind of like relate to.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of posts that say, like Sagittarius, they like when they going through some things, they might like isolate themselves.
Gotcha.
I do that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like if something on my mind, I get real quiet and real.
Introspective. Figure it out.
Yeah, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't reach out to nobody. One thing about me, I don't reach out to anybody for help except for a couple people.
Right.
And they are family. It's my mom and my auntie.
Got it.
Maybe my dad here and there, but my mom and my auntie, those are my go-tos. Like those are my lifesavers. They done rescued me from things when cars about to get repoed back in my times where I was living wild and living rough. When things like that, they always was able to lift me back up.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
So I'm grateful for those two, but it also taught me things too. Like some people when you say some people kind of like don't teach them nothing.
Yeah.
But it taught me on this. I gotta tighten up. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. It's something you said about the kids. Being able to deal with different, personalities. You've been a head coach for 4 years, right? So you think about kids' mental health nowadays. It's all over the place because they grew up with social media. We got introduced to social media. So, like, how do you deal with attention span when it comes to coaching?
Ooh, that's a big one.
I'm tough on my kids, man. I come from high school coaching. My first coaching opportunity was basketball at Northwestern. JV basketball. I coached JV basketball for 2 years.
Okay.
I coached JV basketball for the first 2 years, and I was, of course, when you coach JV, you assisted to a varsity.
Right.
We had to do both. If you're a JV coach, you got to do both. Varsity coaches don't got to do both.
Who was the head coach of the varsity?
It was a guy who was transitioning out. It was a fill-in guy.
Oh,
No, this was after Troop. When I first got there, Troop was there, but he left and went to Central. Right. So they had a fill-in guy.
Okay.
The guy who was only there for like 2 years. He really didn't do too well. So that's when I was coaching up under him. And then my last year, they brought in a high-powered guy, and he changed the program. He got the program. He the one who kind of led the program to where it's at now.
Right now. Okay.
Yeah. No, he ended up taking another job because he improved the program so much. He got another job. Came from Broward County.
Okay.
Coach Stringer, that's his name.
Stringer.
He played college basketball. Very good guy.
Okay.
He revamped the program. I coached up under him that last year. So then that's how I got my opportunity with football because I was already coaching basketball. Coach Max said, "Hey, listen,
come on over,"
because he remembered me from playing.
So talk about that, man. You know, we both in observance or in honor of West Fest coming up this Saturday, baby. We all gonna turn up. Talk about the experience of coaching at Miami Northwest, because that's an experience like no other. There's no alumni, there's no school in the nation like them Bulls, baby.
It was gratifying, man. It brought me a lot of joy, man. I was just so happy to be back a part of of my alumni.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I first started teaching out there, it felt good walking through the hall. I actually got to be able to teach in the class that I was taught in.
Look at that, full circle.
I did that. Was in that class for a full year. But then when I started coaching football, it was like, yeah, man, this is it, man. So I was scared at first. To be honest, I was scared because I had been away from the game, playing the game physically in pads for a while, of course. And then so I had to gain more knowledge.
Right.
Because I can't go out there and these kids know more than I know.
Right.
The game has changed.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But so I had to go do my own research.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
So when I got out there, it was just like, man, I hit the ground running.
Did you coach a position or?
I was the wide receiver coach.
Wide receiver coach.
Wide receiver coach for the JV and assistant wide receiver coach for the varsity.
Yeah,
you got to do both.
Right, got to do both.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Coach Byrne and Coach Matt gave me my first coaching opportunity as far as football. And,
Got it.
yeah, I did 8 years.
8
won
years.
three state championships.
Man, that's a blessing. So you got it with D. Well, y'all with different eras.
No, I got 3 in 17, 18, 19.
Okay. Well, you with D was later.
D who?
D. News.
Of course.
Yeah. What you think about 2012? Because that's when you started, right?
Yeah, I started. Yeah, 2012.
So your championship years was
2017, 2018, 2019.
Man, that's crazy. 3-time champs in a row.
Yeah.
And Max was the head coach.
Max was the head coach after.
Man, shout out to Max, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say about it.
Max is a good guy.
I don't think nobody's done that, right? Smitty never got a triple.
He was the first 3-peat.
He didn't. Okay, but he
The
did. I
second
think back to
3-peat,
back.
they I think what's
Tommy Porter?
yeah, who got the third championship? Billy Rowe?
No, Billy Rowe got the second of the back-to-back.
Okay.
And then that third year, Teddy them lost.
Oh, they lost. Yeah, with Michael Lee them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Max is the first Miami Northwestern coach to win three in a row. Oh, he a made man. Got to be. That's what's up, bro. So let's dive into the educational thing again, man, because I think for me, and we talked about it a little bit, well, I'll just, by me being in law enforcement, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Majority of the guys on my caseload, and I've been working on a Fed side 8 years, state side 4 years. Majority of my guys on my caseload, black men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to see somebody that's a black man, that's an educator, we got to dive deeper into it because it makes a difference. Because I mean, I can remember maybe a few guys that were black teachers coming up, but it wasn't a whole lot. You know, being at the West or being at Drew, being at Orchard Villa, there wasn't a lot of black men. So let's talk about that, man. As far as I think we talked about like how you obtaining your doctorate degree and the inspiration that comes with that. Far as seeing kids being steered the wrong way, you know, I think the term they use now is YN.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, they out of control.
Yeah.
So how do you leverage, you know, that degree? Like, is this something where you're gonna put that on a side of your classroom, and how do you plan on using that degree to inspire your students and even students in other classes in the classroom at your school?
I be relatable and I be transparent.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? Me being relatable, you know, I look like them. I got tattoos like them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can look at me like they feel like they can relate to me more.
Right.
And I'm still in my environment, my community. So I do know some of their aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers.
That's big.
You know what I'm saying?
That's big.
So by me being able to, if I see a last name, if I see Hollinger, you some Kennedy Leon?
There it is right there.
And they be like, they look at me crazy like.
And if it's Nip, he better tighten up.
So I win them over quick.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
There it is. Get your relatability, like you said. Man, that's great.
And then I don't know if I have like I discovered this when I was at the juvenile facility. I worked at the juvenile facility for 5 years.
Okay.
It's called Thompson Academy.
Okay.
That's why I learned how to deal with behavior problems.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a background in like almost law enforcement.
Okay.
I worked in a juvenile facility as they call it a youth counselor, but it's like a juvenile probation.
What was that, Thompson?
It was right off Pembroke and University.
Okay, this is here. Okay.
Yeah, so I had kids coming from Miami, Broward. The majority was from Broward, Miami, but sprinkles from Orlando, Jacksonville, Gainesville.
And you did that for 5 years.
5 years. I was a youth care worker, which was like youth counselor, which worked hand in hand with the kids.
Right.
Like a correction officer.
Gotcha.
But for youth. And then my last 2 years, I got a promotion. I was a case manager. So I had my own office and I was in charge of their caseload. I was in charge of my caseload and I was the correspondence between the junior probation officer and the judge. So they had to come through me to get out the program.
So what do you think, how do you get a kid that, let's just say this kid from Scott Product,
Mm-hmm.
and he cutting up bad?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the buy-in? Like, how do you get that kid to try to take those small steps to change the behavior? Because I think that's part of the problem in our school.
Kind of understanding life. Understanding life, you got a long life to live, and what you're doing is not what you're doing, or maybe the streets won't get you nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of tell them, kind of like be relatable, kind of give them my backstory of things that I went through,
Right.
to kind of and show them, hey, listen, that's not the end road. I
Right.
made some mistakes too. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's all about, it's not where you start, it's all about how you finish.
Right. And I think you said it too, that credibility. One more thing I'll ask too. You talked about how at Flow Mode during the week you was able to conduct yourself one way,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the weekend you would be in the city and you conduct yourself a different way.
Mhm.
I can relate to that. Let's dive into that because, you know, as I talked about, I'm from the Beans. So, of course, in the Beans, you know, I can put on the wife beater and stand on the corner, which I don't have to do it, but I can do it. You know, I know how to pull up, what's up, fellas, and chop it up, whatever. But I also know how to put on that 3-piece suit and be in the federal courtroom.
Absolutely.
Talk about the power to that you able to basically exist in two different worlds.
I used to call it corporate thug, and I got that from Jeezy.
Shout out to G. Got a concert now. Black tie event, baby.
Friday.
Yes, sir.
So I used to call it corporate thug, and I used to have the best of both worlds because I was able to do both. And I didn't know too many people at that time who was able to do both.
Right.
So I used to look myself in the mirror and be like, hey, I could go inside this courtroom and go talk to these judges about these kids, and I could write up these reports about how good this kid is doing in the program and why he should be released to the general population. And then once I leave here, I go back to the projects, change my clothes, go outside and hang with 10 guys posted up, and we got alcohol, and they do what
hang it out.
We do. You know what I'm saying? So those times made me appreciate life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And how I was able to still provide but not succumb to my environment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So me being able to go to college and then go home, I was able to see it. Every day I was able to see the difference when I'm on campus and how successful people are conducting themselves and go back. And then guess what I used to do? I used to take my peoples to the college. I used to take my homeboys to I used to expose them, and they still tell the stories to this day about those times. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why, that's another way how I relate to those kids. I tell them, man, listen, your friends is not going to judge you differently because of the decisions you make. They're your friends. They're going to be your friends regardless. Right. You know what I'm saying? So just because you think if you start doing your work, this guy who you clowning with in class gonna stop being your friend. He was never your friend in the first place. Right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably only hang around because y'all doing some of the same things. Right. Exactly. You feel me? But if y'all do something different, they should still respect you for it. And then if they are smart enough, they'll learn from it and be like, hey, listen, I see my homeboy done change. He making a difference. He doing better. I see he's not getting in trouble as much anymore. You know what I'm saying? I see he's getting things that he wanted now because he's not getting in trouble how he used to. So maybe I should go that route. And sometimes you got to be the example. Sometimes you can't. Everybody is different learners. Right. And we got to understand that as far as our peers as well. When I learned this when I first started teaching, going through my educational journey. Some kids are visual learners. Some kids they have to physically do it. Right. Some kids, they could just hear it and catch on. You know what I'm saying? So as far as people, that's the same thing with our friends. Sometimes you being an example, them seeing you may change their ways. Or you could talk to your friend and he may get his mind right. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you have to take your friend and go, hey, listen, I'm gonna get you on this job with me, boy. Let's go get this money. Like you doing it with him, make a change him. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we don't usually think about those things when we're in our relationships. Right. Either with friends or our mates. We don't think about those things, but those things apply in every part of life, not just school. And that's why I learned that.
Yeah, I know a lot of times with exposure and as we continue to elevate as friends, when the bonding ain't the same, that's when, the relationship starts to die down. So right. Exposure is a huge benefactor when you can bring others into your life. So I like that.
Man, that's crazy, man.
And I ain't gonna lie, it was other people that used to do that. I used to see guys from the Poker Beans that Johnny? Yeah. Johnny from the Poker Beans.
Yeah.
Johnny gave me the game. Like how it's so crazy with the young YN beef. Right. You know what I'm saying? They got like our neighborhoods are beefing.
It's crazy.
Whether
we sitting next to each other, they beef. It ain't no beef.
It's like the younger guy from Brown Sub and the young guy from Poker Beans, they used to be going at it.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever the situation was, they going at it. But us older guys, I could still pull up on 13 and see them outside and jump out. What's good, y'all, boy? Because we have history. Right. And we don't let whatever they got going on interfere with what we got going on. Right. So Johnny from the Poker Beans, he was at Florida Memorial at this time. A lot of people may not know this guy who you may see today. He on Florida Memorial campus, and he gave me the game. He showed me who plugged me in with this and that person, and that's how I was able to get comfortable on campus and just like kind of show me the way.
There it is, indeed, man, solid. I'll ask one more.
Yeah,
go ahead.
After you ask the questions, I'm gonna just go through a couple like this or that questions.
Okay.
Like some of our topics that we've been talking about lately.
Gotcha.
Just to
Okay.
get, insight into you.
Gotcha. One more thing I want to talk into discuss is the importance of reading. This is something that, and I saw a clip the other day of what's the guy named Memphis Bleak. He talked about how reading was born. And I'm like, bro, that had to be the worst message to give as a black man.
Mm-hmm.
So considering your reading expertise, I think you say you got your master's in what is it titled?
Reading K through 12.
Reading K through 12. So for me, and I read every day, literally, bro. I think it was kind of like post football. To be honest with you, when I was playing ball, I knew I could read, but it wasn't something I did every day. But once I put the cleats down, and I knew I had to figure out my lane, that's when the books played a big part.
Okay.
So now in my profession, I read and write every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I speak on how the benefits of reading, you talk about, one, you learn how to spell. That's the first one. The biggest one is you learn how to speak, how to articulate your words. Because I read out loud. I could be in Starbucks, I'm reading loud. I mean, I ain't trying to interrupt nobody, but this is how I develop my vocabulary. Mm-hmm. So, considering your expertise, dive into the importance of reading and how that can benefit you, professionally and personally.
Mm-hmm. I think you said it, the last thing you said. I was waiting on you to say it, but it expands your vocabulary.
Right.
When we having a conversation, you want to be able to speak in a very well manner, articulately.
Right.
So when reading, it helps you out in many different phases of life. Some people feel like you got to read anything you do.
Right.
So
basically, even when you on social media, you read it.
Absolutely. So some people feel like, or some people who may be behind in reading, it hinders their self-confidence.
For sure. And
the kids who I do see who know how to read, they're more confident in themselves. So I think it helps out their confidence.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
And then the kids, it's important to know how to read because, like, when the students are in school and they can't read, they become behavior problems. They don't know how to focus their attention on something because they're
running away from the subject.
They're running away from being able because they're scared.
Right.
They're insecure. They don't want to speak out loud because they feel like somebody may laugh at them.
Right.
So it's a struggle. To be honest, to be 100% real, it's really a struggle in today's society when it comes down to reading. It wasn't the environment that I work at.
Wow.
The environment I work at, it really.
Because kids don't realize that it's writing benefits too. We ain't speak on and as we talked about, it's something that you do every day. So your message to them. Let's just say a kid struggling with reading. Let's just say I'm assuming. I don't know what grade, but let's just say a kid in 6th grade. What would be the first step you would give a kid that's struggling in reading to how to go about improving? Because I mean that's news for me. I wouldn't know what to do. Be honest.
I have to figure out where they're struggling at. Is it a phonemic awareness? Is it phonological skills? Like can they not pronounce words?
Right. Okay.
Or are they dyslexic?
That's a big one.
Yeah. So it's
certain things right there.
So the first thing we do is we have to examine that. We have to test them.
Okay.
We have to put something in front of them and have them do it. And then once we see where they lack at, that's when we start targeting those areas. Because it could be a plethora of things why they can't read.
Right. Gotcha. Man, that's solid, man. I appreciate you giving us that feedback. Go ahead, E. What you got?
I'll close it out, man. I think just to relate, let me unmute my mic. We're gonna close it out to just based on some topics that we talked about previously. And I think we still gonna steer it based on educational side.
Gotcha.
And whichever one you choose, I guess just give like a little brief statement on why you feel like somebody should go that route.
Okay.
So first one is vocational trade or a degree.
Woo!
It's a hot topic here, bro.
One, man. It's a tough one because I encourage everybody to try school because school ain't for everybody.
Right. As a teacher, you saying that,
but give it a try. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. I didn't think school was for me.
Gotcha.
But my journey, it kind of, when I got there, it was like, this is what it is, because I had no knowledge of it. I think the most I seen in college, as far as like how college was like a movie. It was school days and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the only visuals I had of college on campus, the college life, and things like that. So I didn't have no intentions on going to college.
Gotcha.
But when I tried it, it was like, I saw the beautiful ladies from everywhere.
Talk about it, bro.
I met some my guys from high school because like you said it was like 12 of y'all at Savannah State. It was like 8 of us who went to Florida Memorial.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I dealt with the guys, assisted independence.
Okay.
My first piece of independence, I was 17, staying on college campus.
Right.
My mama brought me my mama, my auntie went and brought everything I needed to be independent on campus.
That's
so I got my first piece of being away from home, like you stated earlier. So that taught me some things about not being around my parents every day, not having nobody wake me up. You gotta go to school. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Having to
speak on it.
Be responsible.
Right, for sure.
Another level of responsibility.
Yeah. As you said, I'm thinking about my experiences in college, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seemed like you leaning towards.
Yeah, but that comes with some things. that comes with debt.
Oh man, talk about
debt. We got to pay Uncle Sam back. Luckily, we had Biden in office, and he was able to forgive a lot of student loans.
You was one of the guys he forgave.
I got some of that.
Okay,
yeah, I got not all of it, but I got some
of the side, big dog. I ain't getting none.
I got some.
That's a blessing, bro.
Being in the school system, we got other teachers who everybody in my field probably got student loans.
For sure. Oh yeah.
So
me too.
So it was being talked about a lot. So I had no choice. I caught on the tail end. That's why I got some of it, but some people I know some people got more. But I did get some of it done. But like I say, the trade now, because remember, I started a business in 2013.
Okay.
I started a business in 2013. Mm-hmm. So that was the most fulfilling, other than obtaining this doctorate degree, me building my business from the ground up, from zero to where it went, was like the most fulfilling thing ever. I cannot, and that's one thing I never let go. So a trade isn't bad because it's still almost like schooling. You still got to go through some type of schooling to obtain your certificate.
Right.
So by me starting a business from scratch, and I didn't have no background in food, I didn't have no background in the trade of cooking.
Right.
So I had to learn everything on the fly. So it took me some time. I made some mistakes.
Oh yeah.
But if I would have to trade school for it, I would have learned some of those things, and I would have hit the ground running. I got a homeboy like that. He he did both. Well, no, he didn't do both. I'm sorry. He started out going to school, didn't finish, became a correction officer. And then while he was doing corrections, he went to trade school and got his AC certification. Y'all know him, David Ivory, Dabo. Okay. One of my best friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I helped him start his business, like because he knew I hadn't did the business thing. And to be honest, a lot of people come to me on the low end. I help them start their business.
Gotcha.
Like I teach them the steps. Find a name, see if it's open. Create an email for it first, then do the name and use your email for that correspondence.
Right.
And then get your EIN and then get your business. So I walked him through those steps, and he's still doing business right now.
There it
you know
is.
what I'm saying?
Bless.
So the trade route isn't bad.
So final answer. Yeah, so where you at? You sound like you in the middle.
I'm an educational guy.
There it is. Okay. College
I lean towards education.
Respect. But last point I'll make to it is, if those that's trying to make a decision, it all depends on how you look at debt.
What you want to do.
There it is right there. Yeah. Okay.
All right, next one. And it's kind of what y'all referenced before with reading.
Okay.
But in today's world, you might not have the time, based on whatever your duties are. So audiobook or reading?
Good question.
I like the fundamental read, man.
Fundamental read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it got to be audio, it got to be some audio books. Like I tried it.
Okay.
In school, we have the option.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying, but audio books, they don't capture the feeling, because I teach how to read. I teach how to slow down at commas, how to pause at period, how to read with enthusiasm and the exclamation marks.
There it is.
I'm saying, I teach those things
essential
because how you read helps you understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm a visual reader.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach my kids how to, because I teach them. Most movies come from books. You know what I'm saying? So that person who made the movie, all he did was visualize what the book was saying and made it into a movie.
Yeah.
I tell them good readers,
said, bro.
I tell them good readers visualize what they're reading.
Exactly.
So as I'm reading, I'm painting a picture in my mind.
There it is. Same for me, bro.
The audio book, I can't really get into it like that.
Right.
Because
I haven't even tried it.
Sometimes they don't read with the enthusiasm that I need to understand exactly what they're saying. I can get lost.
Because
my mind stray off and think about something else while they.
Good point.
So yeah, I rather.
Yeah, he'll read guy for sure.
This one for the kids and all the people who out there graduating. YouTube tutorials or TikTok tips?
I don't use TikTok like that.
Okay.
I'm not a TikTok person.
Yeah. No.
I'm not.
Okay, so with TikTok, basically, there are imagine like the clips on YouTube or a quick reel on Instagram.
Right.
It's very similar, right?
Okay.
It'll be like the video auto play in order
Okay.
based on like kind of what you're reviewing.
You know what I noticed though on TikTok? I just saw it. I clicked on the video that took me to TikTok. I clicked on something on Instagram, like at the top, it like summarized what the video was about.
Some AI stuff.
Yeah, and I was able,
Yeah.
and you could click that, and it'll like
you to another
take you
state,
to deeper.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
TikTok?
That's for real.
Yeah. But a lot of kids nowadays, man, that's how they learn.
TikTok.
TikTok tip.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
recipes.
A mathematic only section on TikTok.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So you say TikTok tutorials? I mean TikTok tip.
Or YouTube.
Or you-
tutorial.
Wow. Yeah. That's.
I go YouTube for everything.
YouTube still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So I was going to YouTube to get drills. I send my coaches. I'm a head coach, so if I see a drill, I'm sending it to my position coach.
There it is.
If I think you need to try this, coach. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. We all went to public school, but
Right.
public or private school?
Public for the experience of a real school.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Public. So some kids don't function well in the big public school.
True.
But the public schools, they're gonna have the pep rallies. They're gonna have the good things about. They're gonna have many different options for you to have, like driver's ed.
Right.
They have culinary arts.
Mhm.
They have dry cleaning. They
Right.
have cosmetology.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these options. A lot of
Some schools cut it out though, but some schools kept it.
Still have based on funding. I'm assuming.
yeah, they cut out a lot of drivers ed, but it done came back. They still have
Yeah, they need drivers, especially in Florida. Oh yeah, they need.
So a lot of private schools don't have those things. So the kids who some kids, I ain't gonna say they get cheated, but they don't get those experiences in the high school. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So
Wow. And their parents paying way more money for a lesser experience for the kid.
that's the experience. But you get smaller classes.
Right. More attention.
You get probably more resources as far as better books and things like that. You know, public schools sometimes they lack on those things.
Right.
So it's a give and take. I work at a charter school, so it's not private, but we're a separate entity than the public schools.
Okay.
Oh,
So we don't get all the funding they get, and we don't get all the resources.
Gotcha.
But my school is up under Dade County, but it's a public charter school, so it's still a line between us and them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm sure those private schools don't get any of those things that the public school gets.
Gotcha.
They got to do funding on everything on their own.
Right, for sure. But a lot of them got the money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's one more, but actually we're gonna skip this one because we kind of touched on these on the other ones. It was teacher led versus student led, like learning. But I think it's all embodied into everything.
I think it's I both. Because I do it like that. In my like, when we was in school, they didn't have something. They didn't have the blended learning model.
Right.
Okay.
The blended learning model.
New for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The blended learning model is like I learned this when I started back teaching at Northwestern. They had it, and then I brought it to my charter school
Okay.
and implemented it there because it was like kind of just rolling out when I was at Northwestern.
And this is teacher led versus student led.
This is teacher led, but in one of those groups, they able to learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? So in you have a teacher led group, and then you have an independent working group, and then have a technology group. So they able to be on technology portion because the technology is.
Yeah.
So we don't want to leave that out in the school system. So they have an opportunity in every classroom to do a certain amount of time on the computer.
Gotcha.
And that's just another way to receive the curriculum in a different way.
Okay.
Because like I say, they all different type of learners. So
Gotcha.
they may get they may learn more or learn in a different way from using this computer.
Gotcha.
I mean, teacher led group, and then they have another group where it's usually like a paraprofessional there. If not, it's like an independent group, and they are allowed to learn from each other. Like I pair students up. I pair a higher student with a lower student, so that lower student can because sometimes they may be afraid to ask questions in front in the teacher led group.
Yeah.
So they maybe feel comfortable learning from you on a smaller set, just one-on-one. You know what I'm saying?
Do we have you ever ran into when you do just the students together? like pushback from either student, like, nah, I don't really want to learn from him, or this person musty today, or something crazy like that? You see, I mean, they kids.
Not necessarily the first part, but the second part. You may have students in the group that may not have proper hygiene, so
Right.
you know, I don't condone no bullying.
Right.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So I don't want to let I don't let no other student. I don't let no student let any other student feel a certain way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I commend you for
Embarrassed
that.
or anything like that.
Right.
So, but hygiene is a big part of our youth that's lacking.
That's lacking. Speak on it. Speak on it, bro.
I see them come to school and I'm observant. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to be. Because I gotta know how to handle this kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't treat every kid the same.
Right.
My approach is different. I make her get on you real hard because I know you can take it.
Right.
But can't get on this kid like that.
Yeah, I think. See, when I hear that, I hear coaching. That's coaching right there. I mean, most teachers don't have it. You know what I mean? They probably just
one way.
One way. Right.
And
that's the benefit.
I know that, and that gets a lot of teachers in verbal altercations with kids.
Right.
And I think that's what helps me out in the classroom because I'm good at what I do. You know what I'm saying?
I respect it.
So and all these things help me. Me being an understanding person.
Right.
Helps me. I use a lot of empathy and sympathy.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? I put myself in their shoes. So if I see a kid coming in here and I know they in their pockets every day. So if I see around their pockets dirty, I know that they probably ain't washed their clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if I see that shirt around that collar,
dirty.
You know what I'm saying? I know, damn, this kid probably ain't living the best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I see those things, I kind of I'm already mindful, so I kind of already start to predict things that may happen and try to prevent them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I see a kid who's doing that, I may have a conversation with him. If I see that's going on, I may have a conversation with him. Or I may sit him to the side, let him sit to the side. Okay. Because it be a reason. If I see a kid come in and it's 5 open seats and he walk past all them seats and they go sit over here to the side, I don't say, hey, nah, you got to come over here with everybody else.
Right.
I'm going to go
sit him for a reason.
Something may wrong with him today. So let me do what I do first, and then let me go approach him and be like, hey, you all right today? You know what's going on? Why I see you sit over here with everybody else. You came and sat to the side today. You all right? You want to talk about something?
So one of my questions I got is what's the limit to how involved you can get with a kid? Let's just say, and I'm gonna be transparent, man. I mean, we used to pay like just say we had before school start. Oh, I'm going to get me an A-Rap that Sunday evening. But I'm wearing that A-Rap all week.
No, see, that was the thing when we was in school.
Bro.
That was the thing when we was in school. We used to purposely wear
all week.
Same thing. We used to wear the throwback jerseys and the Rockaway jeans and
there you have it. See, I ain't have all that. At least not the first 2 years. It was rough, bro.
Yeah, see, this is my senior year.
Okay, got you. But I'm saying, as far as you being a teacher, let's just say you observe a kid that's wearing dirty clothes. How involved would the school allow you to do? Like, would they allow you to go, get items for the kid, or what's the extent? Like, what's the limits?
Yeah, we're allowed to. I don't push no limits as far as everything I do as far as with the kid. If it's not outside the scope and sequence of the curriculum, I go through administration.
Okay, you gotta get clearance from them.
Hey, listen, Doc, I see this kid got a little older. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call the mom. Hey, listen, I noticed that such and such came in, and he had older, and I didn't want him to cause problems for himself because kids start picking on him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to listen to prevent these other kids from doing stuff. Make sure that he does something with his hygiene.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then I put him to the side myself, and I'm gonna talk to him. Hey, listen, I don't want these kids to start messing with you, but you know what I'm saying? Gotta make sure you come in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A little cleaner.
Indeed.
And then what I do is, if somebody say something out loud, I'll be like, and then I go light my air freshener, something like that, to try to
make it a little bit smell a little better.
Right.
Gotcha.
But I'm not gonna draw no extra attention on this guy because I don't know what he's going through outside of school.
Exactly. I commend it, man. Solid, bro. Man, good, bro.
All right.
Man, go ahead. I think we touched on a lot, bro.
I hope I answered the questions the right way. I know my mind will start going.
No, solid, man.
The beautiful thing about live streams, we get to see how your mind works.
Right.
It's nothing scripted, right?
Right.
So, but it's amazing that you're giving back to the community the way you are through all the years that I've known you. Even going back to, like you say, dating with Coach George, like I always just had a different hindsight of who you was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you know my dad, he kind of raised me similar to
yeah.
how you
I know your brother and all. Me and your brother ran track together and all.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So, man, I appreciate
Solid.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Indeed. Solid.
Red cleats. Bunch Paul.
I was the first one to wear them red cleats, bro.
Yeah, for real.
We blew up.
Nike?
We was cowboy, blue, green, white. That boy had these with a red cleats. Then
Wow.
people started wearing red accessories. Then after he came out the red cleats. Then.
Wow.
That deal, he didn't want to buy me no. I don't know if he couldn't afford it. He didn't want to buy it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Somebody gave me some red cleats.
And you rocked
them all year.
my dog.
Yeah, man. Hey, but Paul, well, we was the part to beat back then.
Yeah, I remember y'all
I actually won a
boys.
Super Bowl in 2000
Yeah.
with my daddy. That was my first year. My dad became my coach.
That's 135, right?
Mm-hmm. That was my first
135. There it is.
Tough, boy.
135. Y'all had some stars on that team.
We was the, I ain't gonna say the sorriest. We just took a while to put the pieces in the right places.
Right.
But we ended the season with a 3-5 record.
Yeah.
We had the worst record on the park.
Yeah.
That year.
And y'all went all the way to the championship?
And that year, it was only probably like one other team had lost only like one game. All the other teams was like undefeated, bro. We had to listen. Bunch Paul was.
And y'all went all the way
Yeah.
to the championship.
The team that beat us the worst, we had to play them in the playoffs.
Came back mud.
Wow.
The thing is, a lot of times, a lot of them play both ways.
Right.
Most of us.
They have enough players.
Most of us
Right.
played both.
On 135.
Yeah.
Most of us played both.
Wow. We still streaming?
We still streaming.
Okay.
Man. So we finna close it out, man. West Fest this Sunday.
Yes. Saturday.
628.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We might go live out there for a little bit of time.
I'm with it, bro.
When this is live right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so y'all watching, y'all stay tuned for the They Not Like Us class of 06 video shoot that's dropping tomorrow morning, Monday morning.
There it is.
These two guys.
Oh, 06 class. Yeah, I was busy, baby.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna be tuned in, waiting on them to
indeed.
drop.
Yes, indeed.
And then they got some other special things coming too before Saturday. Lambo Law and
Oh, yeah.
and Big Nate.
Big Nate.
And those boys are really cooking up some special things.
Yeah, man. Shout out to them boys,
Y'all be
man.
on the lookout.
Indeed.
Anything we close out with?
Man, again, man, as I said before, two dudes stick out to me for me as far as gaining inspiration, you and Khalil Jones. For some odd reason, y'all boys seem like y'all just the same
Guess
type
what?
of
Our
dude.
birthday on the same day.
Oh, man, see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know God ain't steering me the wrong way,
Birthday
bro.
twin, man.
Man, that's crazy. But just as professionals, bro, educators, fathers, man, it's as I said, that it's the inspiration. You know, especially those that look like you. You feel what I'm saying? From the same communities. It's about, following cats that's doing it the right way, man. So salute to you, bro. Continue to make the good work. Dr. Davis, baby.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
All love, bro.
All
Yes,
love.
sir. We out, baby. Episode 11 in the books.